Hello fellow runners, welcome to week 3. Today I am not my normal place obviously. I'm actually at my fiance's parents' home, just kind of visiting her, so I had to kind of fit this video in as I could. So it's a little bit rushed, maybe not as high quality as I wanted to, but we'll make it work. So I just want to post weekly and really working on that, really posting on those Sundays. So here we go. So today we're going to be talking about obviously the shoe that I have, which is another trail runner, and then also we will be going into more into my workouts again this week, and then also I'll have a little more in-depth presentation on why I do hill sprints actually. So there's a reason why I do them, and I will have a whole section of the video dedicated to that. But let's first start with the trail shoe I was talking about, which is actually a New Balance trail shoe, which is going to be somewhat unknown. It's this shoe right here. This is obviously not mine. I am a size 11.5 men's, and this is more like an 8 or 7.5 women's, or 8.5 women's actually. Runs a little bit small, I think. So I think when I fit my fiance for this, I actually sized her up just a little bit, which I probably should have done in mine, which is an 11.5, probably going up to a 12. My toe feels like it hits the end a little bit. But let's go, we'll kind of dive into it. It's a lightweight trail shoe. Kind of obvious by the looks, I feel like, but for somebody who doesn't know shoes as well, just kind of going over it. It's a lightweight trail shoe. It's in the neutral category. It doesn't have any medial posting like most trail shoes. It's going to be a 10 millimeter drop, so the heel is going to be 10 millimeters above the forefoot right here. And the stack height's going to be 27 millimeters at the heel back here, and 17 millimeters at the forefoot right there. The weight is going to be a 8.7 ounce as a size 9. The type of foam they use is actually their Rev Light foam. So as you kind of see right about there, it says Rev Light. Claims to be more responsive and durable than the traditional New Balance foam, but 30% lighter than their traditional Balance foams. So overall, they're kind of going for the lightweight foam, but keeping that durability and the responsiveness. The curve of the last is going to be semi-curved, but kind of going, I would say, more towards that curved last. And then also a same last as their 1400, which is their New Balance J last. So more of their kind of racing last, lighter kind of workout shoe type of last. So it's going to be the lightweight tempo last and shoe, and then also more of a racing shoe, obviously, with that last. And then how they make it lightweight as well. The rubber that they use in the bottom right here is going to be their hydrohesion rubber. Essentially, New Balance's diverse sticky rubber. They also use a synthetic mesh, which adds a little bit more durability to the shoe. Also, their Phantom Fit essentially gives a no-sew supportive fit. And they also have, with their mesh kind of blending into it right here, if you look on the side of the shoe right here, the lateral side, you see the toe protection, which is an extra layer of thin support, so not super bulky or anything like that. That adds a little bit more protection from the outside forces for the toe. Most trail shoes you see will actually do something like this. But just kind of pointing it out, part of the technology that New Balance offers in this shoe. We're also looking at a rock plate located in the forefoot. So it's kind of hard to tell if she has a rock plate, but if you kind of know where to look, it's actually pretty easy to find. If we're looking at the forefoot right here, typically your rock plates will be in the forefoot, where the foot needs the most protection. You kind of see these slits in the rubber right here. That's how shoes kind of point out their rock plates. So you can kind of see it, and they sometimes will label it. There's something underneath the rubber right there, and that's going to be typically plastic or like some kind of nylon or Kevlar or something like that, to kind of give the foot more protection, depending on the shoe. I believe New Balance uses more of a plastic rock plate in the forefoot right there. Does a pretty good job. Maybe misses on some of these outside portions of the foot a little bit. I feel like I can feel some of the rocks on the outside portions of the foot. But right through the mid foot slash forefoot, I don't feel as many rocks coming through there. So the rock plate does a pretty good job right there. Overall, the fit was a great lightweight trail shoe. As I've been saying, for the most part, same last as their kind of racing, marathon, half marathon slash lightweight tempo shoe. But also, they did a pretty good job making this shoe light. Overall, the heel counter is a little bit stiff, I feel like. Sometimes I feel it digging into my heel a little bit. Not as much when I'm running on the trails, but when I'm driving especially. When I'm driving to a trail and I have the shoe on, I can feel it digging into my heel. I mean, the shoe's not made to be a driving shoe, but it's made to be a trail shoe. I do kind of feel that on the trails every once in a while. So maybe they could loosen up that heel counter. Maybe in the next shoe they will. I don't know. Something that you could obviously race in on the trails. I feel like trail shoes can be more versatile in terms of if you can use them in a race or not. There's so much that goes into trail shoes, and they're so new. I feel like that the best racing trail shoe is hard to determine sometimes. In terms of this has great traction, great lightweight feel to it. That's what I kind of take priority when I'm looking for a trail shoe. So I think this is a great racing trail shoe. I wish they maybe lightened up a little bit, and probably to do that, they'd have to take a little bit out of the heel. I feel like that's a pretty high heel drop for a trail shoe. Typically looking at like 6 millimeters, 8 millimeters, maybe even down to 4 or 0 for like ultra or something like that. So I think they could lower that drop just a little bit. But I feel like it could be pretty close to the 1400. Obviously, really good traction, as I was saying. Like in the snowy conditions, actually, I found that the traction is one of my favorite, actually. So this kind of traction gets great grip onto snowy and icy conditions. Where a lot of trail shoes, I'll find that the traction will get great grip onto ice or onto snow by itself. But this one seems to do well in both. So this is one of my favorite to slide on when it's a very like snowy day. There's a blizzard outside and I need to get my run in. I don't want to go on the treadmill. So I slip this guy on. Works great. Overall, I mean, if you're going for super long runs, it maybe beats my feet up a little bit. But overall, still like the shoe if you're going to go out for a shorter run into the ice or snow. Overall, the shoe really has that race fit, so it's maybe a little more narrow, maybe not the best for somebody with a wider foot, I feel like. Also, I kind of noticed that this tongue right here, when I first wore it, actually, I noticed this. I ran maybe 6 miles on it, and I even noticed it more in the longer and longer runs, but this tongue slides down into the shoe like this. So originally it's supposed to be up here, slides down into there as you're running. So then you have these laces right here kind of digging into your foot, which can really irritate that foot. And I wish they would have thought of this when they made the shoe at first, but it seems like the newer models actually have corrected that, and they've actually put pieces into the tongue that actually hold the tongue up and prevent it from falling down, by kind of attaching the laces and the tongue, which they should have done in the first place, but they seem to have fixed it really well. But those colors seem to be the newer colors. Like for men, I think it's like a blue and white color. I haven't seen it on the orange color that I have. And then this kind of turquoise, green, and black color. Overall, I found that this is one of my favorite shoes in terms of obviously in the snow and ice, but also just running in trails. I like to be able to feel the trail a little bit. Great shoe to feel the trail. I mean, you have a rock plate in the forefoot right here. So you're not going to feel those rocks really pressing up in the forefoot. But overall, a pretty minimal shoe when you kind of feel where you're putting your foot and so on. So it's not like a Hoka where you're not going to be able to feel your foot as much when you place it down. Highly recommend this shoe, especially if you get the one that has the tongue correction. I would really watch out for that tongue. That has driven me crazy. It's the only thing that makes me not recommend this shoe. So if you can find that tongue that has that little piece right there that connects into the laces, I highly recommend that. Overall, the retail of this shoe would be $110. So it's not a super expensive shoe, but also probably not going to last you super long. I've probably pushed mine a little bit too long. But more of that racing shoe, if you're looking for a good racing shoe, I'd probably look at this lightweight racer / trail runner where you can really feel the trail. So yeah, that's the New Balance Summit Unknown. Now let's talk a little bit more about my training this past week. So I started the week off with a rest day, actually. So Monday, kind of feeling like I needed a rest day, so I took it off. Kept it pretty easy, obviously, just like some stretching and stuff like that. Kind of caught up on some work. And then went to Tuesday, where I did some minimal mileage, like 6 miles or so, into more of like a hill sprint session. So that hill sprint session consisted of, as I will go over in this like next little like clip right here, it consisted of 2x5 hill sprints of roughly like 20 seconds or so. But let me kind of let you guys watch this video right here. But I just finished my workout / run, and now I'm on my cool down with Malice. Taking him on a little cool down walk as he sniffs things up. But basically I'll be talking about why it is important to do hill sprints. Alright, so basically today I did 2x5 by hill sprints with 20 seconds per hill sprint at an all-out effort up a pretty steep gradient hill with roughly a minute 30 in between reps or walk down recovery, and then 3 minutes in between the two sets. The purpose of hill sprints is to work those fast twitch muscle fibers like you would in any other sprint, really, but also with the strength component will actually activate more muscle fibers than you would, or get kind of deeper into those muscle fibers that you wouldn't be able to activate on a flat sprint. So what you're doing is, I guess, just activating or working neuromuscular a little bit more, along with the fast twitch muscle fibers, the creatine phosphate system, and anaerobic system as well. So that was kind of the purpose of that. And then the run before, which is really get some mileage in, and kind of use it as a warm-up for the hill sprints, since it's been a while since I've done anything that fast. I didn't want to go straight into hill sprints without a really good warm-up. And just a 6 mile run, typically that's what I do to get a good aerobic benefit from a run as well. So yeah, that was the purpose of the workout today. This is not how you run. There we go. All right, so that is kind of why I will do hill sprints, and then also kind of a rundown of the workout. And Wednesday, obviously, kind of how I usually structure my weeks, is a medium long run. Just kind of working the aerobic system, also getting some recovery as well. Thursday, my standard recovery day, unless I have like a meet or something. And then Friday, back to the workouts again. So I did aerobic threshold, which is going to be essentially 5 miles total. I did 2.5 miles at aerobic or marathon pace, basically, at altitude. And then also took a little bit of a rest. So I typically do about a minute, because of aerobic thresholds, you don't really need that much rest. I kind of want to get back into it as soon as possible. Just kind of reestablish myself and reestablish that pace, kind of recover a little bit from that hard effort, and then going back into a 2.5 mile effort again at roughly marathon pace as well. I think I averaged like something like 5:30. You guys can check it out on my Strava, actually. I have it posted there. I think it was like 5:30 combined for both aerobic thresholds and the race. So, and the rest, sorry. And so, I mean, I was probably rolling around like 5:25 for the actual aerobic threshold paces. And that's actually pretty easy for me, I feel like, since I've been doing my marathon training and all. Saturday, another recovery day. Sunday, a long run. I was supposed to wake up at 7 a.m. to go down to a Highline Canal, which is a very popular long run place in Denver, for Denver Track Club's practice. I unfortunately set my alarm and like, oh yeah, I've got my alarm set for 7 a.m. I can wake up, take a half an hour to get ready, half an hour to get there. I forgot to set the actual alarm. So I set the time, did not actually click on the, if you look on an iPhone's alarm, there's a piece on the side. I either clicked that so it did not go off, or I didn't click that so it would go off. I don't know which one I did, but I set the time and did not have the alarm go off, and actually set the alarm for the next day. So I missed that practice, so I was in a rush, woke up late by a call from the different track club athletes that I actually coach, and she was like, "Hey, where are you at?" And I'm like, I unfortunately overslept. I woken up by your phone call. So kind of moved on from there, got ready to go, got my stuff ready for the day, got my dog all situated for me to go on a long run. Was in a rush, rushed out the door, got my 13 miles in. It was supposed to be originally 14 miles. So that was kind of rough, but I was just in a rush the whole time and maybe sped up my pace a little bit, and supposed to probably be hitting closer to 7 flat was kind of my plan. I actually hit closer to 6:30, actually I think it was like 6:24 average by the end of it. So I was cruising. I did the first half of the run probably above 7 flat. I was like, okay, I can just calm down, I'll be alright. And then I looked at the time, and the last half, and I was like, alright, maybe, I don't know, subconsciously I kind of started speeding up a little bit. It's like, I can just cut it short. I can just go to 12 miles instead of 14. Ended up just finishing the day 13 miles, so probably averaged 6:40 when I started dropping the pace, and then actually came down and checked my watch a couple times. It was rolling 6 flat. I felt like it was pretty easy, so I wasn't too worried about it, and finished up pretty nicely. Yeah, overall, felt pretty controlled in the long run. Good sign, means my marathon fitness is kind of coming back. Now it's time to work on some more of that speed, VO2 max, maybe even anaerobic threshold a little bit, critical velocity, which is basically 10K pace. Just really hitting those race paces closer to the mile pace. I will actually be racing next week, and I'll actually be posting that video next week as well, which is exciting. I'll kind of show you guys how I do my first race. I will be pacing this race though, remember. So I'm going to be pacing through in sub 420, sub 418 pace for the first 800 to 1200 meters, and then I'm going to go for it after that. I'm going to see what I can do. I mean, it's going to be really hard last 400 meters or so, but we're going to kind of go from there, and I'm going to really try to push that pace. So yeah, we'll have to tune in next week and kind of catch that as the action unfolds. So if you guys wanted to follow that video though, please subscribe to this video, like this video, and then also kind of follow me on my Instagram, Strava, Facebook, TikTok that I've just created and everything, Twitter. I'll have all the links kind of just posted in the description right below. So yeah, just give me a follow on all those. Remember to subscribe to this video and like it, because I am really trying to get this off the ground. So if you guys want to see more of the videos, subscribe and like.